Good day, everyone, and welcome to Home at the Hollow. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me. I have seen a few memes moving about that have kind of made the joke, and I don't know the wording, so forgive me, but have kind of made the joke of, yeah, go ahead and save those bananas, and ultimately, some of you, not all of you, but some of you may turn around and find bananas in your freezer or fridge, and it's like, I'm not going to do anything with those. Well, I can tell you, as some of you guys know, I try to waste very little. And yes, I do save all of my bananas that I deem maybe a wee bit too over-ripened. So today we're going to make some banana bread. This is the ultimate, very best banana bread recipe that I can bring you. And yes, it is in my cookbook. I hope that you consider getting a cookbook, but we're going to make banana bread with a wee bit of a cinnamon streusel topping. So without further ado, I have 3/4 cup of unsalted, room temperature butter. And I'll just get it just whipped up just a little bit. I brought out my little hand mixer because I was hoping that it wouldn't be too loud. But just, you know, kind of break up your butter a little bit. And to that add 1.5 cups of granulated sugar. By the way, this makes 2 loaves. And we will just get this going. And if you don't have unsalted butter, then I probably would make the adjustment in the salt that I have in this particular recipe. There's nothing worse than taking a bite into banana bread or something like that and have it kind of be a little bit too salty. I'm going to add 2 room temperature eggs. You guys know I really like everything to kind of be at room temperature, if I can, if I have that luxury. And certainly I take my muffins and breads and cakes and pies and cookies very seriously. So I absolutely love to bake because you get to work on it, put it in the oven for a little while, and walk away and have something just, well, in this case of this recipe, really good. And I think we kind of have this going well, and that looks great. And I do have an 8-ounce brick of cream cheese. You can use regular cream cheese, you can use light. And this has already been softened. You absolutely want this softened. There's nothing worse than finding a big chunk of cream cheese in whatever it is that you're making. And I did a video on how to soften cream cheese safely, and I will drop a link in the description box below. It's a very quick video and something I hope that you guys will find helpful. I've been making this particular recipe, gosh, wow, probably 30 years or so. It's been a long time, very long time. And when I was in my other house, my kitchen wasn't actually really very conducive to a lot of cooking. But I'm really glad to be back in the kitchen. And now that you have that, and this is looking really good. I've got 3 of those bananas that I found in my freezer this morning, 3 large bananas, and that's about a cup. You know, if you go a little bit over, then that's okay. I probably wouldn't go I wouldn't go under. But, you know, if you want to break them up a little bit. And yes, because again, you probably, you know, I know some people will actually take a banana maybe like this and cube it up and chop it up very, very fine and add it into the batter. And I'm not too keen on that. Of course, you do you, but it's just not my thing. And add all of that. And we'll give it a good mix. I've already got my 2 loaf pans already greased and floured with my my homemade magic grease. And I will drop a video to that below. It's just, you know, something really, really nice to have in your pantry and in your arsenal. So this is looking really, really good. That's very nice batter. I'm going to add about a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and that's just a teaspoon. Just enough to give it a good go. And this is luscious. In my bowl here, I have 3 cups of all-purpose flour. And to that, I'm going to add a teaspoon of cinnamon, an 1/8 of a teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and some baking powder. And again, I will drop everything below, or you can get my cookbook and and go from there. But yeah, it's just an incredible mix. I've already sifted my flour, so I'm just adding this in there, and I will, as slowly as I can, add this. And you know, if you want to add walnuts or pecans or something like that to your batter, then that's okay too. This is a very dense batter that you can add nuts to, that it will absolutely hold those nuts. But, you know, kind of like the other bread that I made, the pumpkin bread that I made, it's, you know, if you can stand there and pull apart a piece of bread and it holds together, that's a good quick bread. And so I just about have this mixed up as good as I want it, because you don't want something like this, you don't want to overmix it. And we'll just turn it on low and move this out of here. Maybe not, huh? Sometimes it just doesn't seem like it wants to happen. But give your bowl a good scrape. Make sure everything is it looks like you want it to look. This is a very thick batter, but guys, this is so good. I've got my pans here, my loaf pans here, and I probably could and should have made a loaf and muffins, but I think I'm gonna just do it like this, if I can. And I did that mostly because I'm probably kind of a little lazy. I didn't want to deal with measuring everything out. Yeah, this is so thick, guys. Oh my goodness. But you are gonna love it. Everyone that you share it with is gonna love it. and they're going to ask you for the recipe. They're going to say, I must have this. I must have this. It will keep, you know, depending on the temperature in your house, it will keep, you know, 2 or 3 days, you know, of course, covered and, you know, like that. But again, this is going to be one of those situations where more than likely I'm going to have one to serve over the weekend and freeze the other one, because oh my goodness, it's really so nice just to simply have it for unexpected guests, or for when you probably, like me, feeling maybe a little bit lazy. And today we're having a blustery, rainy, cold, chilly day here in East Tennessee. And I always enjoy that weather. I'm used to big weather. I'm originally from the Gulf Coast and was born and raised on hurricanes and heat. So this blustery weather is just right up my alley. Now the streusel, if you have a streusel that you prefer, this is about, I think, a half a cup of granulated sugar, a teaspoon of cinnamon, about a tablespoon of all-purpose flour, and a tablespoon of softened butter. But just, you know, nothing fancy, nothing special, just in a bowl. Mix it up a bit, break it up a bit with a fork, or if you have pastry blender, that works too. And I'm going to just give it a bit of a go over. And guys, oh my goodness, it is just that easy. I'm going to bake this at 350, and I'm going to say 40-45 minutes. Of course, you guys know I'm still kind of trying to work with my oven, and, you know, especially with timing, because it's kind of knocked me for a loop. I love my new oven, and the only reason I don't have it preheated right now, and it's probably a really, really good thing, but when you turn on this particular oven, the fan, there is a downdraft fan in this, and I absolutely love it, but it runs the entire time that you are baking, and then it will continue to run after you've turned the oven off until it cools to a specific temperature. So in that case, you know, it's a good thing, but for filming, not so great. But a 350 oven for about 40-45 minutes, and we will check in just a bit. And we are back. It baked off just beautifully, and at 45 minutes at 350 on my oven. So I'm happy to report that, but it slides right out. Doesn't make a huge loaf. And I guess if you wanted a really big loaf, you could combine the batter, but, and here you go. And the other one has been safely tucked away. And we're going to take a little bit of this and give a little taste and see how she cuts. It's absolutely totally cooled off. We'll make a couple of cuts. And let's see. Got a little bit of coffee happening here. Move that aside. Whoops. And I'll take this. And some of my streusel fell off, which is a shame, but it's all good. I can tell you from experience, this is a very rich chew of quick bread. I'm going to take one more bite. A huge thumbs up. I love it just like it is. I can definitely see toasting it in the toaster, and again, just a wee bit of butter. I think a nice addition to this would be some finely chopped nuts, of course, of your choice, already roasted, because I mean that's when their flavor is at its best. But overall, a great banana bread recipe. Thank you again for joining me, and I hope you all join me again here, home at the Hollow. Bye, guys.